Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. Ours is a place where dreams take flight, voices are heard, and stories are shared. This is where cultures meet, connections are formed, and ideas are transformed into action. This is your destination for authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives, and meaningful conversations. We're where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover our world of education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our USA Global TV channel and download our USA Global TV app. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. With heartfelt thanks to our executive producer, Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck, music scored by Yifei Tang from Cloud Road Music, creative direction by Paul Garcia, and I'm Al Cini, and I'm very proud to be part of the USA Global TV and Radio family. So join us here at USA Global TV and Radio. Make us your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Thank you for being a part of our global community. Let's inspire together.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Intentional Productivity Tips. I am Megan. I am your very favorite strategic productivity partner, and I want to thank you for joining me today on USA Global TV and Radio's YouTube channel, where, check it out, I highly recommend you not only look at my show, which I do recommend you go back and look at past episodes, but also check out what else is available. When you think about it, there's a lot of great programming and things we can learn to take care of our lives and make them better. So I want to thank you for joining us today. This is Intentional Productivity Tips. I hope you are having a great weekend. I am up here in Northern California, and two things. One, you might notice there are some deer behind me that are hanging out. So we do hope that they are going to be a guest on today's show. We are going to do a lesson about what I have learned about productivity from deer. That is coming up soon because there's a lot we can learn from them. Other thing, if you are in Northern California, I hope you are spending time getting ready. There is a storm on the way. And so I hope you are looking at your no-go bags and that you are prepared for a snowstorm potentially. We are looking for snow here, and I will tell you, I am ready to be cozy and snuggled in. Here's hoping electricity stays on for the next 2 weeks. But today we are here not to talk about deer or storms, although those are very good things. Today we are here, and Intentional Productivity Tips this week is going to be talking about something important that we can find, and it is turning productivity lies into truth. What do I mean by turning productivity lies into truth? Now, when I say lies, I'm not saying that I'm not talking about the lies where it's like, oh, I don't know where I put that $1,000, or you know what I'm saying? When I'm talking about we need to stop lying to ourselves when it comes to productivity, what I mean is we tell ourselves stories and we tend to believe stories about ourselves that kind of cannot always be the truth. So they're productivity lies that we tell ourselves. So we're going to look at 5 of those today. We are going to look at how to turn those lies into productivity truths. And you are actually going to have, by the end of today's episode, there are 3 things we're going to talk about. We're going to stop lying to ourselves. We're going to turn 5 lies into truths. And we're actually going to come up with an action plan for you that I think you'll find is pretty interesting and pretty helpful. Why is it that we are talking about productivity lies? Well, when we think about it, and part of me doesn't like using the word lie because that has such a negative connotation and there are such bad things that happen with lies. But when it comes to productivity, there are times we're not truth to ourselves. We're not true with our true expectations. And so what we want to do is we want to turn those into truth. So that is why today we are talking about productivity truths and how to find our true productivity path. When we think about it, most productivity problems are not caused by lack of tools. They're caused by the tiny lies we repeat so often that feel so true. So today, we're going to stop the lies and replace them with truths. So we're going to look at 5 productivity lies. Let's dig into it. And let's start looking at the very first one right now. The first productivity lie is, I must do this now, immediately. Nothing can wait. This has to be done now. Have you ever found yourself telling you that productivity lie potentially? Let's look at this a little bit. So if we look at this and turn this into a truth, the idea of I must do this now, immediately, nothing can wait. What's really happening? Let's turn this into a reality check. There are times when everything feels urgent because nothing is clearly prioritized. It's quick becomes permission to interrupt focus. Sometimes it's quick in an emergency, and working on those things is a little more fun on other things we should be working on, isn't it? You're reacting instead of choosing, and welcome to firefighter mode, right? If we're in this mode of, I must do this now immediately, we are in firefighter mode. And there's sometimes when we feel like we're waking up and that's all we do. That is a reality check. Now, let's be honest for a second. When it comes to, I must do this now immediately and nothing can wait, let's ask ourselves for a second, how many things truly need to be done right now? So let's go through a little bit of a question, right? If it's a true must, then we proceed. But if it's not, we need to pause, breathe, and decide, right? We have decision point when it's coming to how many things truly need to be done right now. If it's not a true must, if it is a true must, proceed. If it's not, we need to pause, breathe, and decide. Urgency is loud. Importance can be quiet. The truth, not everything needs to be done now. Some things need to be decided, scheduled, or declined. Urgency equals important. Prioritization is a decision, not a feeling, and actually no is a productivity skill. Future you deserves a someday later list. We don't have to jump into everything right now. When we think of the first productivity lie or story we can tell ourselves, we need to remember how many things are truly an urgency. How many things truly need to be done right now? If you're a brain surgeon in its life and death, obviously we need to take that into consideration, but we need to think about what it really is. And is it brain surgery or not? Now, let's look at the second one. So that is productivity lie number one that we tell to ourselves about the importance of now, we must do. Now, lie number two, productivity lie number two. And I love this one. And I have been guilty of this in my life. And we're not even going to go into it. But this is the productivity lie of, I'll do this while I'm doing that. The multitasking myth. Now let's talk about multitasking, right? Let's talk about becoming a truth in multitasking and what we're doing now and what can save till later. Let's talk about the reality check of what's really happening here. When you multitask, right? Your attention is split, not multiplied. Just because we're multiplying or the tasks we're working on doesn't mean we're multiplying our effort, action, or energy, because that stays the same no matter what. So if your attention is split, it's not multiplied, right? When you think about it, you're task switching, you're not multitasking because you're doing two things at once. And everything feels rushed, even simple work, and quality quietly drops. When we think about multitasking, let's be honest for a second. Are you actually saving time or are you just staying busy? Some tasks pair well together, but most of the important ones don't. The truth, there is a time to multitask and a time to focus on one thing at a time. Didn't someone say something to be like that? Isn't that what Shakespeare said? To multitask or to be present, that is the question. When we think about it, there is a time to multitask and there is a time to focus on one thing. Focus improves quality and speed. The truth is, fewer switches equal less mental exhaustion. And the truth is, productivity doesn't need to feel rushed. When we think about multitasking, there are times when we think, I'm going to do these three things at the same time. We need to pause and ask ourselves, there is a time to multitask and there is a time to focus on one thing at a time. I mean, that's what Shakespeare said, right? Important to think about that truth of how we set our mind up. The third lie, I'll find that later. I know where it is. When we think about the year of 2026, we know that we have more information than ever. We also have more information in different places. In some days, I think going back to an all paper system was a little bit easier to find things, right? So there is this lie when we tell ourselves, I'll find that later. I'll know where it is. Let's look at what's really happening and the reality check from that. Things aren't when we can't find things, right? When we think, oh, I'll be able to find those things later. What's really happening is things are not named or organized consistently. You're relying on memory under pressure, and you spend more time searching than saving. Mental clutter builds quietly. When we think about what's happening when we are saying, oh, I just know I'll find it or I'll find it later, we're not taking account that we need to be honest with ourselves. The truth is we have more information to organize than ever before. We have more on our minds than ever before, and we have some tools that can help us. So let's be honest with ourselves for a second. If you keep let me change this. This is easier for me to say. If you keep researching for things, you don't actually know where it is. If you're too busy to organize, that means you're too busy not to organize, right? So we have to ask ourselves, though we think we're going to find and know where everything is, that might not be true. If we have to keep looking for things or asking ourselves, or if we think we're too busy to organize, right there we know the truth. The truth is a few intentional minutes now save hours of frustration later. Simple naming beats perfect systems. Thinking to ourselves, if I create a naming scheme in my note or my file or how I'm saving things or on my calendar, if I make things easier to find later, then I know my productivity is going to increase, right? The frustration is going to reduce. Simple naming beats perfect systems. Common words make searches work for you, and small daily review time closes the loop. What we're saying with this is we don't want to assume we're going to be able to find everything later. We want to be able to ask ourselves and set things up, begin with an ending in mind. If I know and set it up for how I'm going to search for it, I'm going to succeed and it's going to be easier to find later. So that is the third lie that we can turn into a truth. The fourth lie, right? So we've now already talked about not setting our time right. We've talked about not being able to find things. The fourth lie when it comes to productivity we tell ourselves is, I don't need goals or priorities. That's so outdated. I just know what I'm doing each day. Is that really going to help us in the long run when we think about our productivity and where we want to be in our lives? When we think about, I don't need goals or priorities, that's outdated. How can we turn that into a truth, right? When we begin to think we don't need goals or priorities, what's really happening? What's our reality check? When we say that, we're reacting instead of choosing. Everything feels equally important. Work feels endless and disconnected, and motivation fades faster. We know there's power in taking time to set goals and priorities that work for our now. Let's be honest for a second. If we're saying and making the statement of being goal-free, it doesn't always feel free. It often feels scattered. Presence is powerful, but direction gives it meaning. Let's repeat that again. The reality of why we want to be intentional and have goals and priorities, let's be honest why. Being goal-free doesn't always feel free. It often feels scattered. And presence is powerful, but direction gives it meaning. So when we're thinking of why and how we're spending our days, having meaningful direction is going to help us. The truth is, goals and priorities don't create pressure. They create clarity. Direction guides decisions. Systems work best when tied to purpose, and consistency reminds you why you're doing the work. Having goals and priorities, the truth of it is it reminds us, and it's a powerful focus forward and encourages us for why we're doing what we're doing. Why are we waking up so early? Why are we working so hard? It's because of our goals and our priorities. So we need to remember the power of having clear goals and priorities. The fifth and final lie we can tell ourselves when it comes to productivity, I can do all this today, including the meetings. The daily overload lie. Have you ever experienced that? Have you ever experienced that? I can do all of this today, not a problem. We tell ourselves this in our mind, but is it the truth? What's really happening here? Let's look at a reality check. One thing we need to remember, meetings always eat more time than expected. Task time is overestimated. Your day gets dictated instead of designed, and everything spills into tomorrow. So what's really happening when we tell ourselves I can do everything is that we don't have a clear picture of what we're doing right now. Let's be honest for a second. Have you planned your day or just filled your calendar? And you can't do 8 hours of work in 3 available hours. We want to remind ourselves the reason we tell ourselves, oh, I can just get it all done, it'll happen, and we're not intentional and ask how it's going to happen, is because we don't want to face the reality of, have you planned your day or just filled your calendar? We don't want to just be responsive to the meetings on our day. We want to be intentional and plan our day, right? And you cannot do 8 hours of work in 3 available hours. So the truth is, you need to know how much real time you have. Meetings count as work. Task time must be protected, and planning your day prevents overload. One of the things I've talked about before is having a daily checklist, right? When we think about it, it is so powerful when we're planning and when we're looking at our day. We've got to know the reality of the time. We can't just assume we'll fit it all in. It looks fine on my calendar. We have to ask more questions. One of the things that's the most powerful is for us to have a quick reality check. Next to times, add task time. Is it going to be under 15 minutes? Is it going to be 15 minutes? Is it going to be an hour? How long is this going to take? In order to turn the productivity misconception and lie that we tell to ourselves of, oh, I'll do that, not a problem, we have got to stop and ask ourselves what and plan our day. So when we think about it, that is the 5th productivity lie. We have now looked at 5 productivity lies and the truths that help. So let's go over them one by one, right? So remember at first we said, I must do this now. The truth is, some things can be decided or scheduled or declined. When we say, I'll do things while I'm doing that, I'm going to multitask. The reality is, focus beats spinning your wheels. When we say to ourselves, oh, I'll find that later, not a problem, it's in my stuff. We need to remember ourselves that a little daily organizing saves a lot of searching. When we tell ourselves, I don't need goals or priorities, I just know what I'm doing, we need to remember the truth is direction helps work feel meaningful and less scattered. And when we tell ourselves the productivity lie of, oh, I can get all this done today, we need to remember plan real work time, not wishful work time. It's about the real one. My question to you, have you found yourself in any of these lies lately? Have you found yourself telling yourself these stories or these thoughts? We all do. I have. I'm not trying to say that we don't do it. The goal here is for us to ask ourselves, how can we take control of our productivity? How can we take control of our truth? And how can we move forward? So let's look at that right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the 5 productivity truths, and we're going to look at how can we have no more lies. You are very lucky right now. I am not going to sing the song No More Lies. I'm just going to have that question to ourselves. Let's look at these 5 productivity truths and say to ourselves, how can we have no more lies? Lie number 1, I must do this now. The truth, not everything needs immediate action. Reflect and ask yourself, what actually needs to happen now and what doesn't? So the small action you're going to ask yourself is, do I decide it? Do I schedule it? Or do I decline it? What we're wanting to do right now for the 5 productivity lies is we're trying to go through and say, okay, how can we turn them into a truth that's actionable, easy, realistic, and something you can do? If you've been telling yourself the productivity lie of, I can do this, I can do that, I am a multitasking pro. The truth is, focus creates better results with less stress. Question to reflect for yourself is, what would be easier if I gave it my full attention? Would I have to redo things if I was paying attention? Things to ask yourself. All right, no more lies. Again, no singing, you're welcome. No more lies. How can we not have the lie anymore of, oh, I'll find that, I can find all my stuff, I know where it is. The truth, simple organization saves time and energy. I want you to reflect on this. What's one thing I keep researching for? I'm having a hard time with that word. But what is one thing I'm having to search over and over for? All right, line number 4. I don't need goals or priorities. The truth of that is direction helps effort feel meaningful. What do I want to do? What do I want my work to move me toward right now? Right? What do I want my work? What is my purpose? What is my purpose in getting up and doing things every day besides my family and friends? But what is the purpose of my actions? It's important to be able to tell us. Having that is an important lie to overcome. And then 5th, no more lies. You're welcome not singing again. I can do all of this today. It's a magical day. The truth, you need to know your real available work time and what your real day looks like. Take time to reflect. How much focus time do I actually have today? If you've got 8 hours of meetings scheduled, you do not have 8 hours of focus time unless you're going to work 16 hours or more. And that is not the ideal day now, is it? When we think about these lies and when we think about these truths, one of my goals has been to say, how can we take and turn this into productivity in action? How can we turn this today into productivity or action? So one of the reasons why I just went through all of this with you to say, let's look at these lies and let's look at these truths. One of my goals for you is to say, okay, how are you going to turn that into action? So my challenge to you, as every week, my challenge to you is to be able to take one thing that we've learned, one thing we've talked about, and implement it into your productivity. Today, as we've talked about 5 productivity lies, it is now your turn to turn your productivity truths into action. So I would say, spend a few minutes and ask yourself the truth. Pause instead of react. What is your action? The truth. Decide instead of rush. What is your action? The truth. Focus instead of juggle. What is your action? Clarify instead of collect. What is your action? And the truth. Plan time instead of hoping for it. What is your action? Which lie have you caught yourself believing? The goal of this is to look at it and to be fun, but also to be serious, to ask ourselves, being honest with our productivity, our expectations, our mindset, our habits, the time availability, the time we have available, it allows you to be present, to focus on what you're doing your best. One of the reasons I started to stop multitasking myself in many situations is because I realized I was given 2 half-asses instead of 1 full, and I wanted to give 1 full. And so we have to ask ourselves, and it's important to remember. That's why today I've been encouraging you to think of what are the different misconceptions? What are the misperceptions? What are the things we tell ourselves? What are the stories we tell ourselves? I can get all of this done. What are the lies we tell ourselves? It is a new day and a new year. We need to plan for now and not think about the past. So it's important to say, what are your productivity truths in action? And how are you going to take time to be intentional to find the truth and not tell yourself those lies? When you stop lying to yourself about time, work becomes lighter and life gets better. That is why we have spent so much time talking about this today, because our goal is for your life to be better. One of the reasons I believe it's so important to be intentional with productivity is so we know what we're focusing on, so we can do our best, so we can enjoy the lives that we've worked so hard to create. So as every week, my challenge to you, and one of the reasons we spent time looking at the action list, my challenge for you is to take one of the truths, one of those actions, and turn it into something that works for your productivity. As many of them as you want, so that you're taking control of your productivity. I am Megan. I am your very favorite strategic productivity partner. And I want to thank you for joining me today when we are talking about productivity and truths. I hope you will join next week. We are going to talk about practical productivity tips, things you can do that are going to be accessible and easy. You are watching me on Intentional Productivity Tips. I am on USA Global TV and Radio's YouTube channel, where remember, like, subscribe, and be notified when new episodes drop. If you have questions for me, please feel free to reach out. You can email me at hey@productivitymegan.com, or please follow me on Instagram at Intentional Productivity Tips. Got some great information and follow up for you there. My goal for you, and the reason I talk so much about productivity, is because my goal for you is that you are taking control of your time. You are taking control of your actions. You are planning how you want to move forward. You're planning your days and how you want to enjoy your best life. Thank you for enjoying me. Thank you for joining me again. I will be back next Thursday, 2 p.m. Pacific. If you're in Northern California this week, take time and be prepared for those storms. Most important, enjoy. Do something fun for you this week. I am Megan. I will see you next week. And now a word from our sponsors.
Get ready to wear the brand that's changing the world of media. Introducing the official USA Global TV and Radio online store. From our TV show hosts to our incredible global guests, you asked, we delivered. Rep your appearance with pride. Whether you've been on air, hosted a show, or tuned in, we have something just for you. Visit us at usaglobaltvradiosshop.myspreadshop.com and start shopping today. Check back frequently. We're dropping fresh new designs all the time. Showcase your role in our global community. These designs celebrate your voice, your story, your presence. It's more than just merchandise. It's a movement of hope, inspiration, education, and elevated listening. Head to usaglobaltvradiosshop.myspreadshop.com. Your spotlight awaits. USA Global TV and Radio. Elevate your style. Elevate the world.
Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? In a world quick to judge, one book dares to reveal the hidden cost of silence. Discover Holy but Harmful, The Silent Sin of Judgment, How Hidden Judgments Destroy Relationships and Damage Lives by Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. The Amazon #1 bestseller that's transforming the way we understand ourselves and the way we see others. Pick up the companion workbook to uncover your own hidden judgments and learn how to break free from them. Available now on Amazon and at fine bookstores worldwide.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA-Global-TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting. We're building bridges and changing lives, one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dyes. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacqueline Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.